Welcome back to ASSYMETRIC Fashion Academy YouTube channel for another interesting tutorial. In this class, I'll be teaching you how to make this asymmetric gathered gown, as you can see right there. So you can see it's actually asymmetric. One part is shoulder. As you can see, this is the shoulder part, and we have our normal gathered sleeve attached to the shoulder, and this is the off shoulder part, as you can see. So here we have our elastic. So I'll be showing you or sharing with you the tips and tricks to making this asymmetric gathered dress. So if this is what you want to learn in this class, I will encourage you to stay till the end of this tutorial to learn more. Thank you. You need your full basic bodice pattern. Okay, so I'm going to explain what I just did right here. So here, this is the shoulder. That is the starting point of my basic bodice. This is my chest line. So my chest line falls at 9 inches from the shoulder. Okay, that is my bust divide by 4 plus 1 inch shoulder drop. Okay, so that is how I got my chest line. Now I have my front bodice. So we are going to use our front full bodice, and what I have from one end to end is my bust divide by 2, which is 20. So my bust is 40 divided by 2 is 20, and that 20 I brought it all the way to the waistline too. So this dress is actually going to get above the knee line, but I'll show you as we proceed. You know why I have to stop at this point. So now is actually asymmetric neckline, and this asymmetric neckline, I'll simply come in from my shoulder by 1.5 inch. So once you come in from your shoulder by 1.5 inch, you just simply do what? Freehand it, take it to the what? To the mid armhole. You can see, and that is all we need. So the next thing we'll do is to reconnect what we have on this armhole, because this part is going to be an off shoulder. So simply go ahead and reconnect your off shoulder this way. Okay, you can see how I placed my ruler, or let me just use this part of my ruler for the off shoulder part. Can you see that? So we no longer need this part. So I'm going to cut out what I have on this pattern, and that is exactly what we are going to use to cut out this dress. It's actually a very simple dress anyway, so but you are going to see how we are going to achieve this using this pattern I'm going to cut out right now. So I'll go ahead and cut this side. All right, then I'll cut the shoulder. So this pattern, we'll use it to cut out both back and front. So we'll use it to cut out both back and front asymmetric. So now I'll bring in my fabric. This is the pattern we are going to use to cut out this asymmetric dress, and then we have our fabric. So your fabric can be chiffon, it can be crepe, but it has to be any light fabric that will achieve this beautiful effect. So the chiffon I have here is 3 yards, and it comes by 60 in length. So this is a 3 yards from one end to the other. You can see from one end to the other. If I put my tape here to this other part, that is what I got, 3 yards, and the length is by 60. So you simply put your 3 yards together. Okay, if you put it together now, then you have 1.5. Can you see? You can see the folded part is 1.5. I pick up the folded part and meet up this part, that is another fold. So that other fold, I'll arrange it very appropriately, and this is it. Can you see? So we have the folded part and we have the single part, and we have put it on fold. So now we are going to work with this folded part and this part. So I want you to pay attention to see how we are going to achieve this. So I'll lay my fabric, and the first thing we'll do is to get the length of this dress. So make sure you arrange it appropriately. I've arranged it very well right now, and here you can also see the edge that I talked about, the folded and the single part edge. Okay, so later we can clean up the edges. So the next thing we want to do is to take the measurement of the length of this dress. So the length of this dress, I'm taking it to the knee line. If you want, you can do above the knee line. So for my knee line, I'm working with 40, and this is my 40. So I'll just take the measurement of my 40, as you can see right here. So here is the 40, or I can come above the knee line at 37. So I can do 37 if I want it above the knee line, and then I can now add 1 inch for sewing up and 1 inch for hemming. Okay, so everything will come at 39. So I'll mark my 39 inches, and this is what I'm going to cut right now. So I'm going to separate that 39 inches right now, and that is going to serve as where I have the length. So I'm going to keep this part for my sleeve. So I'll use this part for my sleeve. So if you want the sleeve a little more, you can maybe longer, you can go by maybe 4 yards and use the complete 4 yards to draft your sleeve. So now the next thing we want to do is to start placing the pattern. So this part you see folded this way, we are going to use it as the other part of the asymmetric, and this part that is single, we are going to use it as the other part. So this is what I mean. I'll come in with my pattern right now. So as you see this part that has the shoulder, I'm going to turn my paper this way. Can you see? So I will make sure you secure it in a way that you still have your seam allowance of 1 inch and have half an inch to sew the upper part. So I'll just secure it right now. Okay, I'll advise when you are pinning this part, you can come down by 2 inches. So that means that 2 inches. So that means that when you are taking the measurement of your full length of the dress, you are going to add 2 inches on top. That is the length, desired length, plus these 2 inches and 1 inch. That is 3 inches to your desired length. So if your length is above your knee at 37, add 3 inches, which is 40. So by the time you trim up these 2 inches excess here, you still have what you desire. Okay, all right. So now another thing we are going to do, we are going to start adding our seam allowances. So my seam allowance, I'll add half an inch on the seam line. I'll add half an inch on the armhole. So this is the part we are going to sew our sleeve to. Okay, so I'll just add my half an inch on the armhole, and I'm going to take it all the way to my 1 inch. I've already added 1 inch on this side for my seam. So now I'm going to connect my seam allowance on the up, but I will take it in. From here we are going to take 1 inch for the elastic. So you are going to measure 1 inch from here for your elastic. So by the time we turn in the elastic, so it depends on the width of elastic you are working with. For me, I'm working with just 0.5 inch elastic. So that's why I'm adding 1 inch. But if you are working with something more than that, I think 1.5 inch will go for this part. But I'll advise we use 1 inch. So by the time we fold in, we have our elastic. So I'll keep adding this 1 inch, as you can see right here. I'll keep adding 1 inch. So I'll stop at this point right now. That is for the elastic casing. All right, so now I'm going to cut only this part. Please don't make the mistake of cutting the two together, because this is asymmetric. So the only thing you can do is to transfer this line, which is the chest line, transfer it here. So by the time we place the other part on this part, we have everything the way we desire. So I'll pick up this and I'm going to cut out. Can you see? I've cut it out. And I'll also pick up this, only this, and I'll cut out. Okay, so on this part, make sure that you cut up to halfway. So what do I mean by that? If you know the midpoint of this, so I think my midpoint falls at this point, and that is where I will cut out for this part. Only this I will cut and get to this point, then I will leave it. So now I will take off this right now, and I will bring this other part of it. So you need to be very, very careful as you do this. So make sure you know your seam allowance of 1 inch before you place. So can you see? So you actually need to be very, very careful. So for here, you know we added 0.5, so I'll shift it a little bit and then secure with my pin. Then I'm going to add, at this point, I'm going to add only on this. I'll add my 1/2 inch. Okay, so I just want to work it this way because it's asymmetric, and since it's asymmetric, you need to be careful. So here, I'll just mark the 1/2 inch and have it connected to this same line. So when I'm going to cut now, I'll first cut from here. Okay, only from here, and at this point, I'll come up by 1 inch, which we use for our elastic. So the 1 inch, I'll mark it and now cut up to that point. Can you see that? So I'll just raise this part up and make my mark to it. So I can just cut off here because this part is asymmetric. So by the time we open it up, we are going to slant it to meet with what we have on top. So after you have done that, next is to take your 1 inch seam allowance. So this is my 1 inch seam allowance. I'll just go ahead and open up what I have right here as my allowance. So once I've done that, I'll simply go ahead and trim off the rough edges. So be careful because this fabric is actually wobbling. Alright, so this is what we have right here. So we have the asymmetric parts. So note that we have these parts uncut. So I can now take off this pattern. This is all we need for this pattern. So I'll secure each part with my pin, the off shoulder part with our pin, and then here comes the real cutting. So I'll open up the dress. Can you see? So if I open up the dress, you can see what I have right there. So I'll systematically, for this part that has the armhole, so I'll systematically, I just want you to watch what I'm doing. The fabric is actually wobbling. I'll follow my chalk line. So where am I going to? I'm going to meet up what I have on the off shoulder parts. Can you see? So I'll keep marking till I meet with the off shoulder. Can you see? So now I'll simply start cutting. So I want you to watch my cutting. I'll follow the chalk line. I'll be cutting. Can you see? I'll be cutting. Can you see? So this is the off shoulder part. So I'll keep cutting, and finally I'm going to blend it with the shoulder part. Can you see? So this is what we have. This is the shoulder part. Can you see that? And this is the off shoulder part. So I'll just go over to the machine now. I'll first stitch my normal shoulder the way we do that, and then, but before we do that, we need to cut out the sleeve for this, so that when folding for the elastic, when we want to make the elastic casing, we'll make the elastic casing together with the sleeve. So let us construct the sleeve for the off shoulder. I just brought out the remaining fabric which we cut off from the length. You know we are using 3 yards. So now this is what I'm going to do. I'll quickly go ahead and fold my fabric on fold. So when you are folding it, ensure that what you have on fold is 16 inches. So I'll measure. Okay, here I have 15, so I'll put it together. So this 16 inches includes your seam allowance. So I'll just keep it to the end of the sleeve, and I make sure it's 16. So once I've made sure I have it at 16, I'll simply go ahead and do what? And cut. So that is for the off shoulder part of the sleeve. Alright, so this is the off shoulder part of the sleeve on fold. So the folded edge, I'll come out now, and I'll come in, place the folded edge this way. So the length of the sleeve should be your full length from of the sleeve. Okay, it's a long sleeve unless you want to make it a short sleeve. So from here to here should be about 25 inches in length. Okay, so that by the time you put the elastic and push it, it gives you that effect. So on this open part, this is what you are going to do. Simply come in with the armhole part of the off shoulder, and we are going to place it this way. Can you see how I'm placing it? So you place it this way because that is how we are going to stitch it on the machine. So you just, okay, let me just cut it out. You just cut it out this way. Can you see? So once you have cut it out, that is all we need. So now this becomes the sleeve. Can you see that? The off shoulder sleeve. So this part of the off shoulder of the dress, I'll simply pick up one of it this way, match it right side to right side, and I'm going to secure it with my pin. So if I secure it, can you see everything matches and easy? So I'm going to pin the sleeve. Okay, so the way I cut it, so I'll just go ahead and pin, as you can see here. So you can see that they are matching up together the way we cut it. Can you see? Then I'll pick up the other part of the sleeve, and I'm going to match it right side to right side too. So I'll just go over to the machine now, and I'm going to stitch, close the armhole, and then we'll create the elastic casing as well. So let me do that. So I'm done sewing the sleeve. So you can see the sleeve armhole. So this is what I expect you to have after you have joined the sleeve to the bodies. So this is the sleeve, so you can see it right there, and this is the bodice of this dress to the asymmetric line. So now, before we close up here, we are going to make our elastic casing. So this elastic casing, I'll go ahead and fold a little and then fold half an inch. Remember, we added 1 inch, so by the time you fold and fold the half an inch for the half an inch elastic casing, we must have taken the whole of the 1 inch. So I'll go over to my machine. This is how I'm going to run my stitches. I'll stitch and create the elastic casing. I'll do that and return back to the other shoulder. So now I'm done with the elastic casing. So if you look at the dress very well, you can see I've made my casing. So you can see how I made it. I made it all the way to the sleeve. After the sleeve, I continued that way till the end. So you can see the sleeve joining, okay, the joining that we had for the sleeve. You can see that. So the casing is ready. So we are going to insert this elastic from the shoulder part. So you can see I left the shoulder part open. So after inserting the elastic, we are going to stitch it close. So for us to know what size of elastic, I'm using this about 0.5 inch elastic in width, and to get the length, I'll be showing you on the dress form how to take the measurement and what you are going to take off to get the actual length. This is how you'll be taking your measurement. You are going to take your measurement around your shoulder. So the normal way you take your off shoulder measurement. Can you see? So here I have on this dress form, I have 43 inches. So I'm going to make use of 43 inches right now. So on the dress form, my round shoulder measurement, I got 43 inches. So whatever your round shoulder measurement is, remove 8 inches from it. So if I do that, I'll be left with 35 inches. So my elastic measurement is going to be at 35 inches. So I'll go ahead and measure my elastic at 35. So when you're taking the measurement, don't stretch the elastic. Just allow it to take its natural course. So here is 35, and that is where I'm going to cut my elastic right now. So I'll cut it, and this is what I'm going to work, length of 35. So this length of 35, I'll quickly use my safety pin. I'm going to insert my safety pin the normal way we have our elastic, and I'm going to start all the way from that shoulder armhole line. Okay, so this is the shoulder armhole line. So I'm going to insert it, and I'll keep inserting this. So now I'm coming out to the other end, the other shoulder end as well. So you can see me come out right now. So I'll go ahead and do a stitch here. So let me do that. Make sure you secure with your pin. If not, the elastic will slip back into the casing. So now I'm going to arrange all we have on this elastic. So I'm going to arrange it appropriately. So once I'm done arranging it, I'll go ahead and match shoulder seam line to shoulder seam line for the part that has the armhole. So I will go ahead and stitch close the shoulder, stitch the sides. Alright, so I'm done closing the side of the armhole. This is where we are going to attach the shoulder sleeve, and you can see I've closed the side, closed the shoulder seam line, and here is the off shoulder part. So for the up shoulder part, this is the sleeve. So I've already created the elastic casing for my sleeve. Okay, so the elastic casing for my sleeve, I'm going to take the measurement of 8 inches. Okay, so if you are taking the measurement round here, that is here, you just take the measurement of what your sleeve. Okay, here I have 8 inches, so I will just take away 1 inch. Then if you want your sleeve right here, you can take the measurements you have here. Okay, so here I have 12 inches, so it appears my sleeve is shorter for this project. So this 12 inches, I'm going to make it 11 inches because my sleeve is somewhere after the elbow. So now I'm going to measure my elastic at, let me just take it at, remove 2 inches. Okay, 11 inches, so that when we stitch we'll have 10 inches. So I'll just cut this at 11 inches. So it depends on where the sleeve is going to end. So I'll go ahead and do what? Repeat the same process of passing my elastic. I'm passing the elastic at the casing I just created. So I'll just repeat the same process right now, and then I'll close up the size of the offshoot. So you can see what we have right now. So this is our elastic for the hem part of the sleeve, and this is the off shoulder part of the sleeve. This is the shoulder part of the sleeve where we are going to attach our sleeve. So I'm going to sew the sleeve right now. So to cut out the basic sleeve, you are still going to come back with your fabric and fold your fabric at the same 16 inches. So I'll check the measurement of what I have to be sure I have 16 inches. Okay, so here I have exactly 16 inches for the basic sleeve. So I'll just go ahead and cut it out. So I'll cut it out. So make sure you arrange the edges, then they need to be equal as well. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to create on this part, we are going to create our armhole. So to create the armhole, you simply come down from this line at 5 inches. So once you come down at 5 inches, then we are going to also measure from here to here. We are going to measure what your bust divided by 6 plus 1.5 is. For me, mine is 9 inches. So that is my chest line measurement. I'll measure it this way. Then I'll go ahead and get the midpoint of 9 inches. This is what the midpoint is. I'll extend it upwards. Okay. Then on this line, I'll also get the midpoint of 5 inches, which is 2.5 inches. So I'll just go ahead and place my pattern ruler from that point. Okay, so I'll place it here, just at that point, midpoint. Make sure it touches the tip of the sleeve this way. Can you see? So from that point, I'll just go ahead and create my sleeve curve. So that is my sleeve curve. I'm seeing what I mark, but you might not actually see what I marked there, but you follow the line of the ruler. So I'll go ahead and now mark out the other part of my sleeve curve. So after that, I'll come from here and I'm going to follow that curve I made. Can you see? All right. So this is what you're expected to have for your sleeve, and at the center grain line I'll make a notch. So I'll go ahead and gather. So I'm going to gather this way. Okay, so I'll have that gathers, and I'll create my elastic casing and also measure the same 11 inches and insert. Alright, so now you can see I've made my gathers and I have my pin at the grain line, and I've inserted my elastic on the hem of the sleeve. So I'll just go ahead and put them together this way, that way, and then I'll close up the sleeves. So now I'm done closing the sides of the sleeve. So this is what we have. So turning it over, we have our sleeve, and you can see my pin on the grain line. So this armhole area, I'll go ahead and stitch it to the shoulder part of my armhole. Can you see? So I'll just go ahead and turn the shoulder part of my armhole, bring in my sleeve and insert right into there. So where I have my pin, that is where my shoulder grain line is. So I'll open up the seam of my shoulder grain line, match it up, and then I'm going to secure with my pin. I'll also open up the side of the seam for the armhole, and I'll also match it up with the side of the dress. Okay, so I'll match them up and I'll sew round and arrange the gathers. Alright, so I'm done with my sleeve. So you can see the shoulder part of the sleeve, and you can see I placed some gathers to it. Okay, so and we have our elastic as well, so you can make your sleeve as long as you want. So this is the shoulder part and this is the off shoulder part of the sleeve. Can you see that? So that is how we come to the end of this tutorial, and I believe this class was helpful to you. So if you are new to this channel, please kindly subscribe, turn on your notification bell to receive videos like this every day. Like this video, share to family and friends, drop your comment on the comment section and your suggestions as well. Thank you once again. See you in the next class. Bye.